Welcome to Books and Things with Tom. We got a great show tonight. Of course, they're all great, naturally. But tonight's show is going to be a little different. We're going to talk to the Lions clubs of the local areas. And actually got three representatives, three different clubs here. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to raise money for various organizations. And we're going to tell you all about that, and I hope you listen. Write down some addresses and phone numbers so that you can make a little donation. We appreciate that. Tonight's guest is past president of the Mystic Lions Club, Joe Gush, Lion Joe Gush. Welcome, Lion Joe. And Lion Laura Rowe, who is first Vice District Governor and past president of Legend Lions Club. Mm-hmm. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us, Tom.
Both. And I'm past president of Legend and New London, and well, I don't know what else. Maybe I'll make it something up.
Maybe a few more.
Now, how did this program? We're putting on a comedy night at the Groton Elks, and we'll discuss that a little further. And we're trying to raise money for people in need of different things. And now I'm going to turn it over to Laura, and she's going to tell you all about this.
Well, about 2 years ago, our district governor, Nancy Tucker, decided to devote her year to doing something to help the homeless and the hungry. We knew we didn't have the funds or the manpower to open a shelter, but we had the ability to do something. So what had happened, we put our heads together and decided to do hospitality bags. Now, I was on your program 2 years ago with a sample of the bags, and since that time, the Lions in our district have put together over 300 bags. Uh-huh. Also, and Connecticut's divided into 3 Lions districts. Lions of the other 2 districts have adopted the same or similar program where they're packaging hospitality bags. So that spread, we've delivered countless pillows and toiletries and underwear to various shelters, and we've even bought infant car seats and portable cribs when they were needed. So that all stemmed from that beginning project. Okay.
And to note that some of the stuff that we put in those bags are unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah, we fill them up with all kinds of toiletry and a blanket.
I got a blanket. In the winter, there's hats and gloves. Yeah. Sometimes we have hand warmers. There's, as you mentioned, there's a whole package of toiletries, and there's also a bag of non-perishable food that they can eat right from the package.
Unbelievable.
Toothbrushes.
I think that's a great thing. And if I were homeless, I'd stop and step to the house and get a couple of bags.
Well, and it wasn't just for homeless people who have been found in an emergency. We had the bags on, EMTs were carrying them, police were carrying them. Yeah. So if they came across an emergency situation where they thought it could be used.
And I thought the other thing was interesting back then was that the high school kids were living in their cars.
Yes.
And we were giving them bags.
Yes.
And that's a shame.
And for those individuals, we put them in backpacks rather than, so that they could still use the backpack.
Yeah. Take their license away so they don't stay in the car. Only kidding. But that's a shame we get to that point.
Sometimes, and I don't know, these kids could be in abusive situations, but they end up maybe not necessarily in their car, but what we call couch surfing on friends' sofas. So
I had a guy that came in, spent a couple nights with me when I was 21. 2 years later, he moved out. Anyway, so now we're up to giving money to who? Well, Joey, did you start this program?
Well, what happened was my wife and I were watching what was going on, and of course we got into packing the bags and hauling the stuff to the different locations where we were making the bags up and everything else, and got talking about money and so forth, and they said, well, we ought to do some sort of project. And of course, Nancy was involved in that. Nancy Tucker, who was a district governor at the time. So we approached her about running a comedy night. She said, sure. So then we went to find a place to do it, and a couple of our members belong to different organizations, and one of them says, hey, you know, the Groton Elks, and I thought about it for a second and said, that's a perfect location. It's not too far north, it's not too far south. So we went and approached the Groton Elks, and they said, yeah, we'll do it. You can, and the venue was that we'd set up tables, and we'd hopefully sell tables in lots. We sell individual tickets and keep open tables, but we got it very simply set up that, you know, you can get a table for 10 or a table for 8, and then the cost was $20 a person. And again, everybody said, hey, that's not a problem because it's going to the homeless. So we sold out in roughly 4 weeks, I think it was. Yeah. And then we had 9 comics lined up, and we ran our first one. And it was very successful, and then we had to sit down and figure out which groups we were going to give money to and how much and so forth. And we did that and put together this year. We said we want to do it again, so I reserved September 9th of 2017. It's a Saturday night at the Groton Elks to do the same thing, and we had some lessons learned, and we put the lessons learned into effect. We tailored down a number of comics. We got a little different lineup and made it so that the person who wants to go to this can actually go to YouTube and call their individual names up, look at them, and get a sampling of what kind of a comic they are. All right, which makes it real nice too. We got some good ones lined up for this year, and we're going with the same price. And it worked out last year. We had almost $5,000. It was just shy of it. Yeah. And our goal is to get to the same spot this year. And I'll let Laura talk about the different groups that we are going to give it to. She does.
Pardon me while I go to this cheat sheet. Well, we've decided this year to have the proceeds go to 4 different organizations that help the homeless and the hungry. One of them is the New London Homeless Hospitality Center. They have been in existence since 2006, and they came about after a homeless man died in a park because it was freezing weather and there's no room at the shelter. This particular shelter is what they call a wet shelter. They will accept anyone. You do not have to necessarily be sober. One of the recipients is the Gemma Moran United Way Labor Food Center. They furnish food to 96 pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, child care centers, community meal centers, and feeding the elderly throughout New London County. Then there's the New London Community Meal Center that also gets food from Gemma Moran. And on an annual basis, they will serve over 72,000 meals to 35,000 people. And that's just 1 year. New this year, we are going to donate some of the proceeds to Safe Futures. That's formerly the Women's Center of Southeastern Connecticut. They were established in 1976, and since that time their mission has changed a little, where they take care of women that are in domestic abuse situations. So those are the 4 that will receive the proceeds of this comedy night.
And that's, they're well worth it.
Absolutely.
Especially in today's economy where the taxes are going up and expenses are not being met. The state of Connecticut's cutting back all their money, and so these people do start to suffer. We've lost an ad from one of our books because of Connecticut's expenses cutbacks. And there's a lot to be said out there that we need. In addition to the tickets to this program, we're selling a program book. Oh, there's the bulletin that shows the comedy night. And you can get tickets by contacting one of the names on the TV, Laura, Joe, or myself, and we can get you a ticket. but we're also selling ads for a booklet, a program for the night. And this is very nice. These people that are sponsored in here, we're hoping people go out and talk to them because they spend some good money to advertise. And we do pass these out to all the people. We run off 225, 250 books and pass them out so everybody can know all the people who have helped us and took an ad out in the book. So we're making money by selling tickets and selling books. Well, we're not making money.
Yeah.
Yes, that's selling advertising. But that's what the Lions do. We just go out and work like
Absolutely.
the devil.
We earn money and to give it away.
Yes. Which shouldn't everybody? Well, I do. I make money and give it away. Now, these comedians, you pick those up by checking out their websites?
Yes. My wife, Chris, Laura, and her husband, Frank, and a couple other Lions that went with us, we screened out so we'd have good comics, quality comics.
Yeah.
And so that basically the show starts at 8, it's over by 10, so you have 2 hours. And you want to make sure that you fill the time with quality comics for the people to be entertained with. So we spent about 4.5 months screening different shows.
Tough job.
Yeah, it was nights out, long nights out, and dinners out, and everything else. But we got to socialize and meet the comics. And our host, Jeff Wade, is got them lined up so that they'll all be set.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to say I'd like to say something about each one, but you go ahead.
Jeff is the guy who helped us last year put it all together. He's a great guy, and he's one of the comics in the show, but we have a good headliner. We got a really neat magician comic that Laura's going to talk about. And these people are pretty much donating their time for this, all right, for what they would normally be paid.
Yeah.
So even they are given to the project, which is a great thing. Are you ready to talk about it?
I was just going to say that our headliner for that evening is Linda Belt. She's a New Jersey native, and she's performed through the United States and Canada, and she has a video on YouTube if you would like to preview her act. Our feature that evening is the Prince of Mystery, Skip Daniels. He's a magician, a comic, and an illusionist. He will keep you mesmerized and laughing. Then we have Dale Cover. He loves to make you laugh. Comedy is his passion. He's performed stand-up on the finest stages, including Comics, Levity, Gotham, Dangerfields, and Roadhouse Live. Johnny G is a local DJ. He's been performing comedy for over 4 years on stage, entertaining at many benefits here in Eastern Connecticut. Let me see. And our host, as Joe mentioned, is Jeff Wade. Jeff has been performing comedy since 2011, has performed in numerous clubs and venues ranging from Maine to New York. He won the first ever WCTY comedy contest held at Comics and the Ultimate Fighting Comics contest at Comics. Jeff can also be heard as the voice of Buford J. Clodhopper on 97.7 WCTY. And Jeff is competing again at the Last Comic Standing, which will be this Sunday, 8 o'clock at Comics. A little plug for Jeff.
There you go. If you decide to come, you buy your ticket, you can bring a snack, or you can bring dinner, you can bring anything you want to eat. Can't bring any beverages, because the Elks do sell beverages, and they'll make a profit by doing that, because they're giving us a discount. But if you want to bring a snack to eat, you'd be my guest.
It's more of a state licensing requirement that you can't bring alcoholic beverages or beverages in there. But one of the neat things about it is, like you said, bring a snack. Now, last year we saw everything from shrimp cocktail and lobster all the way down to 3-foot-long sandwiches and stuff, because people bought tables and they just lay it out on a table, and 10 people would be sitting at the table. They had really a great
Yeah.
entertainment and dinner at the same time. So it was kind of neat.
Yeah, because groups of 10, they were all together.
And there was a couple of different groups that had bought 2 and 3 tables, so we located them together because we figured that kind of snacking between tables was going to happen, and it did.
Yeah.
And it just makes it a lot more homier, a lot more nicer for people. They know what they're getting because they brought it.
Yeah.
All right. They can't complain about the food. I didn't have to cook it. All right. And it's very little cleanup. And that was one of the things that we tried to make sure that the project was. A lot of Lions projects seem to get to be manpower intensive.
Yeah.
And this is really not, because you go in and set up the hall for an hour, and then you go back and they bring the sound system in. They get that all set up, and next thing you know, people are at the door coming in, and then at the end of the night, you got plastic tablecloths, which are not bad, and you just, whatever's left on the table, up it goes and in a bag, and you're out of there in 20 minutes. So that's a great thing.
And that was a sellout, too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
We had a complete sellout. We were turning people away a good month before the event. It just went perfect. We have some tables left now. We got 8-person tables, and we have 10-person tables. And like I said, if you're just going to come yourself, we have open tables for, you'll be sitting with somebody you never met before, but that might be just as interesting.
You laugh together.
Yes.
That's right. Done that many times.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great. Because I was involved last year, and I'm obviously involved this year. It's a good feeling to know that you're working for a project. Well, this happens with all the Lions projects. But you feel that you're really doing something, and you take those checks out and present them. And the people appreciate that. The
Yes.
organizations, they're big, and they're working out their butts off, and it's just always there. It's always a problem.
To these groups right now, it's money that they haven't even seen or realized.
Yeah,
All right, so they don't.
this is extra.
Yeah, this is whatever they budgeted. This is above and beyond whatever they budgeted. So it's coming in at that, and it's nice to be able to just bump somebody's budget up a bunch of money so that they can go, wow, where'd that come from? And it's also part of giving back to the community. This is in our area. It's not going to, 4 states across or a country on the other side of an ocean. It's right here locally that we're helping out our people that we unfortunately see the homeless out there could use some help. And some of those organizations are set to help people to get back on their feet as best as they can. And that's what we're trying to do.
And the other thing I think is, because you mentioned the homeless, it's not just the homeless.
No.
I mean, there's some people out there that really need help, and they're about to be thrown out of their apartment or the house, and these almost homeless, but they're hungry. They need food. They need clothes.
Well, many of us are a paycheck away or one illness away from being
Oh yeah,
homeless.
I know a couple of people that it's happened, and they sit there and go, I don't know what happened, but they had a nice paying job, a nice house, all of a sudden, both gone.
Yes.
If I had the fortune to go over and help a couple of times, not as many as times as I'd like, or as many as some of the other Lions that I know. I've gone over to the New London Community Meal Center.
Yeah.
And it's not just homelessness, it's the people that are getting impacted, and just like you said, where am I going to get the money for the next meal? It's either the rent, the electricity, or meals.
Yeah.
All right, where am I going? Well, that particular center, you walk in with a suit and tie and sit down and eat, and nobody's going to say nothing.
No.
All right, and if you watch the events that go on there, breads and stuff like that get donated. They're put on a table by the door for people to take with them as they go. There's a whole bunch of great things that happen just in that one organization, that when you sit and look at it, you say, no matter what I can do here, I can help.
Yeah.
If it's stand behind the counter, cutting up cakes and pies that have been donated to the center, or things that they've cooked in there, and they do have a chef in there that donates time, and it's great. You know, they're not. It isn't like when you see one of the war movies on there where they're flopping stuff on a metal tray. I mean, they're getting good quality dinners, and that's great, and that's what those people need, nourishment for their bodies and minds, so they can keep themselves moving and get back on their feet.
Yeah. The New London Club does that every third Friday, I think it is. And we have a group goes out there and feeds the people. And we do, we, New London Lions, have a pancake breakfast. We've got one coming up in November, which I'll be letting everybody know. And the pancake breakfast is held at the meal center. And people come in, because they're basically closed on Sundays. And every once in a while, somebody will walk up to the walkway and say, "Can we get a breakfast?" Absolutely. I'll go in and start. And somebody come in and eat a couple of breakfasts. And that's good, because you're still homeless on Sunday.
And you're still hungry on Sunday.
And they're still hungry, so you feed them. And as Lions, that's what we do.
That's when you
Feed 'em.
feel good
Yeah, to watch somebody walk out, he's got a stomach full
and happy.
and happy. Hasn't cost him a penny.
Yeah.
And I don't mind paying for my breakfast.
That's right.
But it's a good deal.
Well, that's the rewards. Yeah, we as Lions, you don't get any kind of monetary payback, and you don't get any discount in taxes or credits for anything of that nature. You get the feeling that you did something good. And if you go home at the end of the day and say, "Yeah, we made a difference today," that's all it takes. You feel good about it. That's how you get it.
Yeah.
And that's the part I like about being a Lion.
And you're doing something that you're enjoying, and you're not getting paid,
No, but you're enjoying it.
but the lion next to you says, "Thanks a lot."
And the camaraderie is unbelievable. We have met friends that we normally would not have met.
From all over
the world.
And the nice thing about it is when you put your lion's pin on, still there, yeah.
Yeah.
Put that lion's pin on, and no matter where you go, you're welcome.
Yes.
Yes.
You had, yeah. I just got his name right through. Yeah, it's tough to get old. Ernie
Ernie, yes.
went to Japan. He was a prisoner in World War II
Yes.
for 5 years, and he became a lion, an outstanding lion. Ernie was a great guy. But he decided to go back to Japan to see where he was incarcerated and camp. And he said he got there, and they treated him like a king. They picked him up in chauffeured cars, took him wherever he wanted to go. He said it was just unbelievable. But they saw the pin. It wasn't so much that he was incarcerated, but they saw the pin. As soon as they saw that lion's pin, of course, in Japan, it costs you like $1,000 to join.
And I tell you a quick story about Lion Ernie Plants, who
Yeah.
unfortunately has passed away about 2 years now,
2
I
years
think.
ago.
Ernie, when I was president of the Ledyard Lions, Ernie came to me, Lion Ernie, and said he wanted to donate $1,000 after the tsunami in Japan. He wanted to donate $1,000 to the people who kept him a prisoner of war.
Really.
I thought, what an outstanding,
He was quite a man. He really was.
outstanding token of humanitarianism with that.
Yeah. No, nothing held against him, just, well, war is war, and if you're Japanese or German or whatever, you are fighting for your country, just like
Right.
we did. And
Exactly.
And
So-
and we all have our own ideals, and that's what we're fighting for. And they
Yeah.
don't necessarily mesh.
No,
Yeah.
it's like a husband and wife split up. Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
there.
That's
Anyway, we only
it's
got a
another
couple
show.
of minutes. Anything else you want to put up? Anything else we missed?
The only other thing I would like to say is that our host, Tom Santos, is the one who put that book together. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Yes. Did a very good job, and hopefully there's one or two things to be added, and away it will go to print. It'll be out in time and everything else. It's great.
I hope we'll put this out Monday.
So come on September 9th at 8 o'clock Tickets are $20. I'm not sure if we mentioned the ticket price. And you can have a book.
Yes. And it's a souvenir, because it's not going to be the same next year. Hopefully. We're going to have all new ads. But a lot of good information on him. And I got a couple of notes. On August 27th, the Park Deck VFW is holding a benefit pasta dinner in support of our friend Harry Roth, which is up there on the screen, as you can see. Harry is a Vietnam vet. He stands about 6'5". He's a huge man. Nicest guy, just a little bear. He's a local fisherman. He's a tugboat engineer, and he's battling cancer. All proceeds will go to Harry and his wife. And so come on over, and the dinner is a $20 donation at the VFW Hall from 3 to 6 on 160 South Broad Street, Park Deck. For more details, please call the VFW at 860-599-2404 or go to www.vfwpost1265.com or call me. Check my Facebook page for books and things. Thank you to the SCC TV for their help in broadcasting these great shows that we have. Anything you missed, go to SCC-TV. There's a YouTube button there, or you can go to YouTube and punch in books and things. Next week we'll have James Michael Walker, who has written a book about a brand new mystery at Gillette Castle, and another mystery of Sherlock Holmes, the case of the flying corpse. Please watch. Excellent book. Thank you for watching. Email me at santostom@comcast.net. You should be reading. Got some warm nights coming. Cuddle up with a good book. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
You may get this.